Hi everybody! Today I am going to talk about Minotaure. And Minotaure was a surrealist-oriented magazine which was published from 1933 to 1939 in France. The journals became the primary vehicle for establishing the identity of the surrealist movement. About the history of this magazine, it was created after the Great Depression in 1929 and having its final issue released right before World War II. Minotaure was published in an interesting time. Despite the desperate economic climate, Minotaure was consistently published in the span of 6 years with 13 issues. Each of them was a collective of arts and literature that reflected the surrealist spirit, contributed by many notable artists who followed surrealism at the time. The magazine was originally founded by E. Theriot and Albert Schira with the desire to produce a lavish journal on the plastic arts, poetry, music, architecture, ethnography and mythology, theater, psychoanalytical studies, and observations. However, when Andre Breton, known as the founder and leader of surrealism, was invited to contribute to the magazine. Breton, with the magazine's editorial committee, which was formed by surrealist artists such as Marcel Duchamp, Paul Eluard, Maurice Hahn, and Pierre Mabille, giving it a heavy surrealist bias early on. Let's talk about the founders and influencer of this magazine. Theriot was the art critic and a publisher. He was the original editor of this magazine, but that role was quickly taken over by Schira. He remained involved and contributed to the magazine for years. However, in large part due to the increasing surrealist direction of the review, Theriot departed in December of 1937. Albert Schira played a major role in building and developing the Minotaure. He was the one who brought in Andre Breton and being influenced heavily by Breton's surrealism. Schira explicitly forbade Breton from using it to express his political view. He was the chief editor of the review for most of the magazine's lifespan. About Andre Breton, although he did not found Minotaure, but he had the most influence on the overall theme of the publications. Andre Breton positioned himself as the leader and the main theorist of the surrealism movement with his 1924 publication called The Surrealist Manifesto. After this publication, his work surrounds his overt political position in subordination to the French Communist Party and the directions of the Third International. Being the member of the Minotaure's editorial committee, Breton was its co-editor alongside with Albert Schira until 1939, when World War II started and Schira ceased to continue publishing. About the design, Minotaure was a luxurious review in its day, featuring original artworks on the cover by prominent artists like Matisse, Picasso, Duchamp, Miro, and Dali, and it grew more lavish with each passing year. Unlike existing publications about surrealism, Minotaure was larger, longer, and featured technically more superior illustrations both in black and white and in color. The main audience of Minotaure are the artists and scholars who are following or wanting to learn about surrealism. This journal became a platform for artists to share their ideas and collaborate with each other. The periodical appealed for the mainstream art public, gained wider recognition for the movement, especially which is feature articles on architecture, not commonly found in other surrealist publications. Although the term avant-garde was originally applied to innovative approaches to art making in the 19th and early 20th centuries, it is applicable to all art that pushes the boundary of ideas and creativity. As a part of avant-garde movement, Minotaure went against the rapidly changing mechanized world where automation, robots, and cyborgs are attracting the attention as the symbol of the future. Minotaure's content was obsessed with relationship between humans and animal. The review adopted the controversial hybrid symbol of universality that combined these two parts. It blurs the line between human and non-human, which highlighted the question of humanism. It also pointed out the new concept of universalism, which says the animal is in the human and the human is in the animal. In regard to the interdisciplinary nature of Surrealist art movement, Minotaure was moving away from portraying political perspectives, and instead it celebrated Surrealist art that questions the nature of humankind in relationships with animal. The journal also eliminated the anthropocentric view of human, breaking the chain of humanist tradition and invited the barbarian outsider inside. In conclusion, the journal was a significant element in Surrealism's rise from a relatively obscure circle of poets, artists, and intellectuals in the 1920s to a major movement of 20th century art. Its question about the nature of human has challenged artists later in history to push the limit and experiment with different configuration of the human, which also raised the discussion about the human and its position within the world. Besides many modern surrealism art pieces that was influenced by the periodical, popular culture also joined the discussion. We can see many blockbuster movies such as King Kong or Marvel movies such as Spider-Man, X-Men are the prime examples of the merging idea between a human and an animal.